the dark side of real estate, we're going to talk about new build edition.
Dark side of real estate. New build
builds.
edition.
New builds. Okay.
So lately, new builds kind of go in waves. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
So during COVID, there was a huge uptick in new builds. I think we had like 10 or 15 that year in 2021, I believe, because it was so hard to get your offer accepted if you didn't have that much money in the bank. So we were transitioning to new builds. Okay, fast forward, it was easier to get your offer accepted.
Because that's like first come, first serve, put a deposit down on the house.
They'll basically sell anybody a house.
Yeah.
As long as you qualify, it doesn't matter if your credit score is like 580. Yeah. If you qualify, you good.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, back in like November, there was another uptick of new builds. And I think that's because rates, as we all know, were in the 8%, and new builds were offering these crazy, crazy incentives.
And can I just say the reason they're able to do that is because just remember these are multi-billion-dollar companies, and so they can pre-buy loans at a certain low rate. They hold on to them and they let little bits, and they're like, oh, just for this month until they're gone, and they act like they can give out at 6% instead of 8%.
Yeah.
Now, this is, again, they are a multi-billion-dollar company, so they don't care about anyone except for them.
Yeah.
So continue.
One big thing that us three, like, we want to point out is that you do not save money by not having an agent for a new build. I'm going to repeat myself. You do not save money by not having your own representation when you go to a new build. The commission, as it stands right now.
Wait, Paige, even if they're offering me $20,000 in incentives and paying off my solar and all new appliances, I can still have an agent?
Correct, Balmer. You can have an agent.
Wait, am I going to get all those things without an agent probably?
Maybe. We don't know.
Maybe.
But the one big thing is that those builders' agents are...
The builder's agent.
Do they represent you or care about you?
Nope.
They may seem like they do. Because
they're
of course
just
they're going to
nice-
be nice.
They're nice people.
Yeah, and they want to sell a house too.
But they represent the builder.
Yes.
But when it comes down to it.
So if I'm supposed to close March 31st and they say, just kidding, it's going to be April 30th now, and I don't have anywhere to live, do they care?
No.
Exactly.
Will they give you any credits? Probably not.
Nope.
So one thing that I've told my clients now, I'm like, don't you give your notice till you get keys now, because their time frame for move-in dates are never right.
It can change the day they're supposed to close.
Oh my gosh.
Started. And they won't take responsibility. They'll blame it on a third party.
The inspectors
or the weather.
I've had conversations with the and when it gets tough, the agents won't respond to you.
Yeah, they just stop responding.
Yeah.
They fly off the face of the earth.
Well, because
and, like,
they have no
it.
actual
They don't
control
care.
over anything,
No.
right?
Well, and
No,
they get
they
paid
don't.
minimum wage.
Yeah. So if it gets too stressful, they're like, no thanks.
I'm not dealing with this.
They also don't work 7 days a week. So unlike us, it could be a Sunday, you have a question, we can help.
They get designated days
They
off.
don't. They have certain days off. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's 5 days. They work 5 days a
Well,
week.
okay, so even if, let's say, you brought us on and the builder's paying our commission and the transaction goes swimmingly, there's no issues, that's wonderful. We're there for when their issues
go.
When
Also,
issues
you
arise.
could think it goes well, and there's other stuff that we're not telling you.
Yeah.
Again, like we talked about.
But the thing is, when you don't bring an agent, a good agent, I should say, the only people that win in that situation is the builder.
Yeah.
The builder does not give you that money.
Yeah.
Let's call it
Oh, my-
$10,000. They get to now
My favorite-
not have to pay out $10,000.
My favorite,
okay.
a family friend, a family friend's sibling didn't use me recently as
That
buying
was
a home.
super fun to hear.
No matter what she said, no matter how she was like, that's dumb. So this, I think, let's say an $8,000 check, even if, again, everything went swimmingly, you just purposely made sure that I didn't get it and the multi-billion-dollar company did.
They won.
That's all you did. Even if you had zero issues, which I'm sure you didn't have your own private home inspection, I'm sure you didn't make sure that if there was any consequences for them closing late and delaying things for you,
What
sure.
happened if you decided you don't want to do it anymore?
Yeah, and you lose your deposit. It doesn't matter. So if none of those things happened and everything was great, all you did was purposely say, Palmer,
F you.
F you. I'd rather have the millionaires keep their money.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's
It's
it.
extremely
Yeah.
rude because even if it wasn't me, even if you had another agent friend, whatever, you just purposely chose to keep the rich company richer.
And
That's crazy to
how
me.
about my client that because of her lender, not Rick, the lender that she used that said that she was approved and actually lied and did all kinds of weird things.
A lender
and so
lying?
yeah, and so when it came down to it, we were supposed to close, and the builder was like, you guys have to close. If you don't close now, then we have to cancel.
And keep your
And
money.
so
like
she
$15,000 deposit.
She was
Yeah.
pre-approved with, or she tried to get pre-approved with a builder's lender, and she wasn't. So
Yeah,
that was the little clause in the contract that made it so she
But I
should
thought
have
that-
gotten her deposit back. But they said no, they weren't going to give the deposit back. So I ended up I wrote letters to the president of the building, the builder.
Because if she doesn't qualify with the builder's lender, then
she's supposed
they
to
have
get her money
cancel and
back.
get her
So
money.
but I had to fight with them
You
before they
always have to fight.
finally agreed, and they sent her deposit back.
And if you hadn't been helping her, bye $15,000.
She wouldn't have known what to do.
No.
Well, that happened with me with a build also.
Oh, yeah.
That it got to, so they ended up not qualifying because rates had ended up skyrocketing like a month
Because
before
that is the
closing.
issue with a new construction is there might be one rate and it can get worse or better by the time it's actually time to, because you can't lock in a rate 6 months,
Yeah.
a year in advance.
So,
No.
but we got to that point, and the builder's agent was like, he sent me some clause of, they're keeping the deposit. And I go, that's not going to fly. So I ended up having to go over his head, sales manager, another agent I worked with at a different community, and I told them the story. I even contacted the agent who used to be at that community, got it resolved, and he got his deposit back. And my client told me that if I wasn't there, he would have just had to forfeit his 14 grand.
Yeah. Because that guy representing the builder was fighting for the builder
Yes.
and should keep their money.
Yes. Yes.
It was sad.
Yeah.
So, but I hear those stories all the time, and I even had one of my best friends. Her mom bought a new build. She was in contract. Like she told her, you need to use Page, whatever. Again,
Didn't.
ignored.
Yeah.
And then she's texting me like, "Hey, my mom's buying a new build. Blah blah. She's having issues." And I go, "I cannot advise on that. I am not her agent. She should have used me because I would have been able to help.
Yeah.
But I cannot
But now
put my
she's having-
license at risk." Answering any questions because I'm
She
not
chose
involved
to
in
not
that.
have a
Because
representative.
then
I'm not
you
involved in that
become the de
transaction.
facto fiduciary representative as soon
As soon as you give advice.
talk to someone and give
Yes.
them advice.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
Yes.
legally speaking, that's all well and good, but why are you going to do that for free for someone who completely purposely didn't use you?
Yes.
At some point,
Ignored all advice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, like a past client, you want some advice, whatever, like things happen. And sometimes we just give some verbal advice here and there, knowing what we're technically, legally, contractually obligated
do.
for and what we're
Yes.
able to.
Yes.
But when it's like that, where you're just like, you were given so much advice to use me, and now you're finding out the hard way why you should have.
Yeah.
Too little, too
I was
late.
like, I cannot, and I don't want to sound
Yeah.
like a bitch about it, but
a
I'm putting-
little.
Yeah.
but also
But you have to protect
I-
yourself legally.
I hate when people say, "Oh, so you're just doing it for the money."
Who-
Excuse me, unless
who-
you run a nonprofit, which
what?
by the way, nonprofits still make money and you get paid when you work at a nonprofit. Who works for free? Tell me. Who the hell
Jill
works
does when
for
she
free?
volunteers once a week at the garden.
That's because she loves those people.
That's not even work though. She
Not
just
even-
loves
it's
it.
volunteering.
But
It's
that's
different.
but that's my point. Is if it's called volunteering, that's when you technically do either manual or mental
Yes.
labor for free.
But I don't volunteer as a realtor.
But
No.
ain't nobody
But
gonna
all
do that.
we do say you would do this for free sometimes because you do love your peoples.
Yes,
You
I
love
do.
your peoples.
Yeah.
I do.
But-
I do.
But my point
But
is
because
that
we work to live. We don't live to work.
yeah,
you
I
know?
wanted to be free and like hang out with my kids. I don't want to be strapped down 24/7, 7 days a week.
Because I'm doing everything for free.
yeah.
Like, and I'm just supposed to be
Yeah.
nice about it.
yeah. No. we
Crazy.
can't.
Back to the building stuff 'cause it's going towards.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, I know.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
Okay.
But
Thanks.
it kind of had the same thing to do with it. I was gonna
Anyway,
bring it back.
builders
Point.
builders agents are not there for you. They're for the builder because
Yeah.
the builder needs a representative. Whoever is selling the home needs their own representative. So if you're a buyer, you need your own representative.
Yes, you do.
It will not hurt you. it can only benefit you. And if anything, like we said, it does absolutely nothing.
So here's a fun one. I was actually with Paige's client at the home inspection. We do this, so like if I'm free, I'm gonna help Paige out. I also do a lot of assistant work because I'm kind of stepping outside of that. So I will often meet your guys' clients, right? So I met Paige's client at the home inspection. Our home inspector, our preferred person who does all of our personal things, is who she uses as well. And so we were chatting because I have no idea how this came up, but something about new construction, a lot of people not doing home inspections at new construction. And she goes, yeah, we bought one years ago, way before the new Paige, and it had all these problems they found out later, and they never had their own home inspection, like privately, right? You can't just be like, oh, it got all the city inspection, because there's a lot of little things that we know you don't want to live with that technically pass code.
Yeah.
And so long story
technicals.
short, long story short, they had to spend like, a decent amount of time. I don't think it was very expensive because they did it themselves, but fixing things that could have been caught by the home inspector and fixed by the builder. And so it's one of those things where if you don't have your own representative, you're a first-time home buyer, how are you going to know that you should also spend a couple $100 on your own home inspector to inspect the home properly outside, like as a third party, because they don't care what the builder wants or thinks. They are just going to look out for you. And so you buy the house, find out later there's things. And then even if technically that you have that 1-year builder's warranty, if it could have been fixed prior to close, why wait months and months? Because they take forever to get back to you and actually send someone to your house.
Yeah.
So just fix it before.
That's like a non-negotiable now. I think after doing a couple new builds this year.
Also, it
with
is a
some
1-year
sketchy builds.
builder's warranty. So let's say you find out month 13th there's a problem. Well, too late. They ain't fixing
Which
it.
it could have been
exactly.
fixed, but you wouldn't have
So
known.
it definitely,
A lot of non-negotiables, home inspection, like communication. Obviously, we want great communication, and I don't know why it's so hard to get that reciprocated on the other side.
Yeah.
But it's
it
like
is
pulling
hard.
teeth.
Yeah.
And so just rule of thumb, don't go.
Well,
buy
because,
no
and a lot of times,
or don't sign in. If you're going to go, don't sign in. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just be like, no, I'm browsing.
I'm browsing. My name is
They might
Sally.
make you feel like you have to sign in, but you don't.
But you really don't.
Yeah, you really don't.
Give them a fake name if you really have to.
Yeah.
I know. Committing.
I know.
Anyway,
All right.
moving on. We digress. Don't use a builder without us.
Yeah.
Yeah.